Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Live at 4 on this Wednesday. Hope you all had a nice day. We have a busy show today.
Yes, we do. It's the summer eve, right?
Yes,
Tomorrow's
it
the
is.
first day of summer. So Donna Weihoffen is going to be with us with some make-ahead recipes for 4th of July.
And Harvey Briggs will be along with a screamer. We're going behind the wheel in a 700-horsepower Jeep.
Looks like fun.
We had to go to the racetrack.
Jealous.
We had to go to the racetrack for this one, so that's all coming up. But first, here's what's making news today. Facing a lot of pressure from lawmakers, the public, and human rights advocates, the president signs an executive order stopping his family separation policy.
A new Marquette Law School poll was released today ahead of the upcoming August primary. Our political reporter, Rose Schmidt, will explain some of today's results.
And flooding remains a big concern throughout Wisconsin. Lakes here in Madison are seeing historic levels, and the National Guard is helping out with recovery efforts up north.
Let's take a look outside today. There's another line of storms right at our back door, it looks like.
The last thing we need.
Cloudy, it looks a little gray and possibly stormy again this afternoon.
The weather words, can you stand the rain? Our own new edition. Dave Caulfield is in the backyard with details of yet more precipitation.
Yeah, this feels like an old edition of the forecast, Mark and Susan, because it just will not stop raining across Wisconsin. Unfortunately, our friends in Iowa at the present time are dealing with some nasty weather, a tornado watch, tornado warnings, and some severe thunderstorm warnings, all for central and northeastern Iowa right now. It does look like once these storms are forming and getting kind of nasty, they are heading straight north. So I don't think for us in southern Wisconsin, we'll have to worry about that much, but it's a little bit too close for comfort right now, so we'll watch that very closely. Doppler track across southern Wisconsin is quiet right now, just dealing with some clouds, maybe some patches of drizzle in spots. In downtown Madison, lots of clouds on the Edgewater Skycam, currently at 71 degrees, an east wind at 10 miles per hour, that dew point at 64 degrees. Temperatures have reached the 70s for many of us, so at least that's good news. A little bit warmer than yesterday, 73 in Janesville, 72 in Boscobel, 71 in the Dells, and 70 even in Waukesha. Dew points are in the mid-60s, some 70s, a little bit closer to that bad weather for Iowa, not for us right now. That's good news. Wind speeds out of the north and east at about 10 to 15 miles per hour. A live look in Madison, even more clouds. Sunshine very hard to come by over the past couple of days, and I think that stays the same into this evening and tonight. We'll see at least the chance of some more showers with temperatures falling through the 60s. Now, here's your first alert traffic update. We're taking a live look at Stoughton Road and the Beltline. Things are looking pretty good right now. We still do have an accident showing up right by the Beltline eastbound and Stoughton Road, but not too many delays showing up at the present time, so that's good news. We are seeing those delays, though, in the Beltline's midsection, right from Seminole Highway closer through Fish Hatchery Road, and not getting to John Nolan Drive just yet, but we could have some delays popping up in the next couple of minutes. And that accident still close to Stoughton Road. Verona Road to John Nolan Drive, that's 7 minutes with an average speed of around 40 miles per hour. Some other drive times, the Beltline to Janesville, that's 28 minutes. Everything running normal with an average speed of around 65 miles per hour. That is your first alert traffic update. Coming up, we'll talk about our next chances for rain and if temperatures get any warmer into next week in your first alert forecast.
All right, we'll check back in a little while. Thank you, Dave.
First at 4, facing intense pressure, President Trump says that he will end the process of separating children from families who enter the U.S. illegally.
Angelica Alvarez has the latest from Capitol Hill.
President Trump signed an executive order ending family separation for immigrants who cross the U.S. border illegally.
We're going to have strong, very strong borders, but we're going to keep the families together. I didn't like the sight or the feeling of families being separated.
Under the Trump administration's recent zero-tolerance policy, more than 2,300 children have been separated from their parents since May. Images of children in government-run facilities triggered a firestorm of protests.
It is psychological torture what this administration is doing.
The president had repeatedly insisted only Congress can fix the crisis, but in a meeting with congressional Republicans, he announced his reversal.
If you're really, really pathetically weak, the country's going to be overrun with millions of people. And if you're strong, then you don't have any heart. That's a tough dilemma.
The House is slated to vote on a pair of wider immigration bills on Thursday, both of which the president is said to support.
This is very good compromise legislation that not only solves the child separation issue at the border, it also solves the border. It solves DACA. It solves a lot of our broken immigration parts.
But with the executive order addressing the immediate crisis, there's concern the pressure may be off some lawmakers to pass the immigration reform bill. Angelica Alvarez, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
And sources tell CBS News the White House is expecting legal challenges to its decision to end the policy.
Shipping and boating traffic will come to a temporary halt at one of the busiest ports on the Great Lakes this evening when the president visits Duluth, Minnesota. The U.S. Coast Guard is working with the Secret Service to secure the port of Duluth Superior. The president will attend a meeting on mining and trade and then a rally in the city tonight. Well, President Trump and Governor Walker's approval ratings are up slightly in Wisconsin from 3 months ago.
That is according to the latest Marquette Law School poll, which was released today. Our Rose Schmidt is in the news center to tell us about these upwards trends. Rose?
Hi, Mark and Susan. It's campaign season for Governor Walker, and it appears his approval is up 2 points from March. After surveying 800 registered voters in our state last week, Walker's approval is now at 49%, with his disapproval at 47%. 3% don't know or didn't have any opinion. And our nation's leader's approval is at 44% in Wisconsin. President Trump's disapproval is 50%, the same as in March. Now, poll director Charles Franklin says these poll results are in line with the national results for the president, but he also pointed out that the voters were surveyed before reports of the Trump's administration separating children from parents who crossed the border began building.
And Charles Franklin will be with us tomorrow here on Live at 4. We'll break down more of the numbers. Rose Schmidt in the newsroom. Rose, thank you.
Well, countries across the world are marking this World Refugee Day. A new UN report says wars, persecution, and other violence have driven nearly 69 million people from their homes. These refugees from North Africa are on the move after being held in a migrant detention center in Libya. They're being flown to Niger, where they'll wait to be resettled in Europe or North America. The UN's High Commissioner for Refugees is traveling with them and says the world should show compassion.
Terrible stories of the journeys that these people have gone through. Many women having been raped, many women having delivered children when they arrived.
Camps in Bangladesh are bursting at the seams. More than 700,000 Muslims from neighboring Myanmar have crossed the border to escape a violent crackdown. Worldwide, Turkey has the highest number of refugees, mostly Syrians. Pope Francis is urging people not to turn their backs. He tweeted, "Do not let fear get in the way of welcoming our neighbor in need."
Schools in southern Wisconsin will use grant money to help improve safety. 19 schools will be awarded almost $2 million as part of the Attorney General's School Safety Grant Program. Attorney General Brad Schimmel announced the grants today. The money will help districts with building improvements, training, and mental health care. The Madison Metropolitan School District will receive more than $993,000 in grant funds. And we'll have a full list of how much districts in our area are getting online at channel3000.com.
New information today regarding the future of the former General Motors plant in Janesville. A $500,000 grant will help the city with demolition. Our Rock County reporter Adam Duxter toured the teardown process today and is live at our bureau at the Janesville Gazette with the latest. Adam.
Thanks. Today was all about the future as a $500,000 grant was given so that the vacant site can be torn down and something new can eventually be put up in its place. The Wisconsin Economic Development Committee is all behind this. It's part of their idle sites redevelopment project. The money will go to help fund the demolition of the buildings as well as removing asbestos from the site. Today, officials say they are excited about the future of the area.
With incredible infrastructure, including 2 rails, water, other utilities, and vehicle and truck access, the assets are in place to make this an excellent site for future industrial production.
Officials say the total demolition will cost more than $10 million and is not expected to be finished until June 2020. And later on, we'll hear from a former General Motors employee who worked at that site in Janesville for more than 35 years. What he has to say about everything that's going on and the future development of the area. That'll be tonight at 6.
All right, we'll check back with you then. Adam Dexter reporting live from the bureau at the Janesville Gazette. Thank you.
People dealing with flooding in northern Wisconsin will get some help from the National Guard. Governor Walker activated the Guard today. 5 counties in the northern part of the state saw as much as a foot of rain this past weekend and remain in a state of emergency. 2 deaths have been attributed to the flooding. Forecasters in La Crosse also fear part of the Mississippi River may flood in the coming days because of all the rain. Residents in Madison in flood-prone areas can take action to protect their property. There will be free sand and bags provided by the city at various locations, including the Engineer Service Building and the Olin Park parking lot and Warner Park Beach parking lot. The city says residents are advised to bring their own shovels.
Parts of the Southwest are also dealing with flooding today. Millions of Texans, including those still recovering from Hurricane Harvey, have been affected by the heavy rains. More than 12 inches fell in this region recently. The Corpus Christi Fire Department rescued several people overnight who were trapped in their cars by floodwaters. And more than a dozen homes in Orange County were damaged after rising floodwaters rushed in. Many of these homes flooded during Hurricane Harvey last August and were in the process of being rebuilt. Heavy thunderstorms are expected to last through tomorrow, keeping the threat for flooding in place.
Well, there's more to come at 4. The 4th of July is right around the corner.
And nutritionist Donna Weyhoffen is along next with some great picnic recipes that you can make ahead of time. That's when Live at 4 continues.
Several recent outbreaks related to contaminated food have affected dozens of people across the country.
But health officials say technology and consumers are helping contain these infections. New numbers from the Centers for Disease Control show 10 more cases of salmonella infections linked to pre-cut melon. 70 people in 7 states have now become sick. Last week, another salmonella outbreak was announced, this one linked to Kellogg's Honey Smack cereal. The CDC says new technology is helping them better detect outbreaks and stop them.
When people get infected with bacteria, we're able to use this new technology to get a DNA fingerprint. And when people have the same DNA fingerprint, we're more confident that these illnesses are related to a common food.
The CDC says people can also help solve outbreaks by seeing a doctor if you get food poisoning and report your illness to a health department. We'll just call it South Africa's green gold. Things are picking up for avocado farmers struggling with drought. This is peak avocado season for the country. As more people indulge in things like guacamole and avocado toast, export prices have nearly doubled in the last 10 years. South Africa exports more than half of its annual production of around 125,000 tons to Europe.
On Wall Street, stocks continue to have concerns. Trade concerns put a cap on the Dow. The blue chip index lost 42 points. It closed at 24,657. The Nasdaq, however, set a record high, adding nearly 56 points, and the S&P 500 added 4. Tomorrow is the first day of summer. It arrives at 5:07 a.m.
Wow, what happened to spring? Well, the 4th of July will be here before you know it. And nutritionist Donna Wyoffen is here with some make-ahead recipes for your 4th of July celebration.
Hi,
just put them in Tupperware and take them to the party.
Right. It really takes all of the, trauma out of cooking for the 4th of July because you can make it all ahead of time. Even the meat.
Really?
Usually you marinate the meat and then you grill it. But that, that's at the last minute, and you have to have a grill. This, you grill it first or bake it first, and then you marinate it. And then you pull it out of the marinade. And you can do either beef tenderloin, which is this one, or pork tenderloin. And so what I did, and this is your little pork there. So all I did was bake it in the oven to the proper temperature. And you can see it's a little bit pink.
And pork can be.
Yes.
That's a new thinking.
Yes. Otherwise, it's overdone. And then you put the marinade on in the bag, and then you take it to your picnic or pull it out of the refrigerator, and it's all done.
How far ahead can you do that,
Couple days.
Couple days? Oh, that's great.
That's good.
Yeah, it's very good. And then
I didn't get any beef.
Take one of the beef ones.
And then you have to have your vegetables marked.
Okay.
You can't just eat meat. And so I did asparagus, and this is cold asparagus. You cook it ahead of time. And I put on a raspberry sauce. And the raspberries are made with just frozen raspberries and honey in your food processor.
That's it.
And I put a little feta cheese on top and put little raspberries there. So,
that's
and
so
that's
colorful.
completely done. And I have a fun new way to cook your asparagus.
How'd you do it?
Do you remember the bacon cooker I had at Christmas time that cooks bacon? This is it from Orange Tree. You put bacon in here and you fry it, put it in the microwave. Well, I put water in the bottom, asparagus on top, put the cover on 3 minutes, and
that's it.
Perfect asparagus. So use your bacon cooker from Orange Tree Imports to cook your asparagus.
I don't normally eat asparagus cold, but I really like it. It's crunchy and
and the sauce is great too.
Yeah, with the sauce on it. And then, of course, the beans, that's an old-fashioned recipe. You can use any kind of beans. There's 4 different kinds of beans, and put a sauce on. And again, you can have this at room temperature or cold. You can also have it hot. But this is also made ahead, and I froze that. I made it at the cottage last week.
How do you make your trail beans? Do you just throw every kind of beans imaginable in there?
Yep,
and then what do you do for the sauce?
And that has some brown sugar and some ketchup and those kinds.
Good. It's good cold.
Yeah.
It is good cold.
I know.
You wouldn't expect it to be.
No, isn't that great? So that's all done ahead. So you've got your meat, vegetables, your beans, and then dessert. So the dessert, again, red, white, and blue. This is cute.
Very cute.
So the red strawberries and the blueberries. But, the sauce on top is so good. This is so nummy.
I'm seeing a bottle of Southern Comfort right away. I'm in on this.
You can use Southern Comfort or brandy and brown sugar. And you boil that until the brown sugar kind of melts. And then when you cool it off, and then you stir in some light sour cream. And that's all it is brown sugar, brandy or Southern Comfort, and sour cream. You have to taste that sauce.
Oh, we got some here, right?
Yes.
Yeah. It's num. Really, really, really good.
Oh, that is really good.
And the alcohol burns off.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's delicious.
Yeah.
That is really good.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is that good?
Isn't that good?
So it's super easy and super good and kind of simple, low calorie, you know.
Healthy.
And how do you make the meat?
Well, you know, I grilled it, or you can bake in the oven. On the recipe sheet, it tells you how to do it both ways. You have to use a meat thermometer. So if you want it pink, you got to know what temperature, and about like 140. And the pork too, about 140, and slightly pink. So.
And what do you marinate it in? What do you put it in for the marinade?
Oh, the marinade has red wine vinegar, and some mustard, some garlic, some oil, and I think tarragon.
Very healthy.
Yeah.
All good stuff.
Great summer meal. Let's not wait till the 4th.
No, I'm digging it now. All the recipes online for you now, so you have plenty of time to get them ready for the big holiday weekend.
Yes.
Enjoy your cottage.
Yeah, great to see you.
Yes, all the pictures were taken at the cottage too. Yeah.
Oh, that's
All right,
terrific.
get these recipes, folks. They are spectacular.
They're really good.
All right, Donna, thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome.
We'll be right back. Stay with us. Take a look at this. A car began to roll away down a busy street in China just moments after the driver got out. She apparently didn't put the vehicle in park. Meanwhile, as the car was backing away,
oh no,
another woman jumped out of the moving car. Here she comes. She's chasing her car, trying to get it stopped. The door opens.
Okay. Oh, and there's another car coming too.
And that's a police car who happened to be driving up the road, veered over to stop the car, preventing more collisions. The woman who fell out of the car was shaken but not seriously hurt.
Oh my goodness.
Put the car in park.
Yes. A lot of things you can forget. That is not one of them.
It's not.
It's Wednesday, June 20th. It's National Hike with a Geek Day. Push the keyboard away and get in touch with nature. This geek not available today. Sorry about
no
that.
hiking?
Unfortunately not.
It's a National American Eagle Day. Our national symbol was on the brink of extinction in the late 20th century. Eventually, the population recovered, and on June 20th, 2007, the bald eagle was withdrawn from the list of endangered and threatened wildlife.
Mark and I still watch the Decorah Eagle Cam.
What a success story that was.
Yeah, it's incredible. And it is also National Plain Yogurt Day. We got the jumbo plain yogurt. Now, that's how you eat it, you said.
And not always.
You don't put anything in it? You just like it plain?
Yeah.
But that's the healthiest way to eat it.
That's a lot of yogurt.
Yeah.
I use it as sour cream.
Really?
In place of sour cream.
Like on a baked potato? Or?
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, no, not bad. Carbohydrates only 5%.
No,
those.
Dave's not convinced. He's like,
I tried it once and it didn't work.
We only have one spoon, so I guess we're going to have to fight over it.
Oh, man, sorry. Too bad.
You can't have any, Dave. Sorry.
We actually have some blue sky showing up in Madison over the past couple of minutes. Hopefully I'm not lying. We're showing the right one. There it is. Look. You can see it, top right corner.
Better get a still frame of that.
Yes, exactly. But we are talking about more rain, unfortunately, over the next couple of days in your first alert forecast in just a few minutes.
Hello.
Good evening. I hope you are having a great Wednesday so far. It just needs to stop raining, folks. I've almost run out of ways to say it because after such a rainy May, you would think that Mother Nature would give us a break, give us a pass. She had no plans for that, and she's having no plans as we go forward as well. So 14 out of the 20 days in this month, we've had at least some sort of rain. We've gotten 7/100 of an inch of rain so far in Madison today. And that got me thinking, as far as June rainy days, where do our records stand? What is that like? So the most rainy days we've ever had in June, way back in 1892, that's 24 days. That's 80% of the time, only 6 dry days in that month. We currently are on pace for 21 days, which most recently happened in 1969. If it has an asterisk next to it, it happened more than once in Madison, 23 times in 1935. And actually last year, we had a fair amount of rainy days in June at 18. So we'll see if this trend holds. Hopefully not. Hopefully we can get a couple of breaks, but folks, it just doesn't look that likely. We do have a tornado watch just to our southwest, and we've actually had some tornado-warned storms with this low pressure system in Iowa. But for us, we're pretty quiet right now. Actually getting a little bit of sunshine. We also do have some severe thunderstorm warnings, not currently, but actually a little bit closer to Mason City at the present time. But for eastern Iowa, we're actually not looking too bad, although we do have some pretty strong thunderstorms rolling through. So we'll watch the opportunity for possibly some of those storms sneaking into Wisconsin, but the chances don't look all that good. We'll keep an eye on it, though. A live look in Madison, we did see some blue sky just a few minutes ago, but Mother Nature showing that that was just a tease because we have those clouds with us once again. Our time lapse on the Edgewater Skycam in Madison, we had a pretty good downpour early this morning. And then for the rest of the day, maybe just some light rain and some thunderstorms well off to our west. We're dealing with the clouds pretty much all day. So our current conditions in Madison, this is what it looks like. 71 right now on the Edgewater Skycam in downtown Madison. East wind at 10 and that dew point at 64 degrees. Our high temperature trend as we start summer, man, it is actually quite cooler than average, about 10 degrees below average as we start summer tomorrow morning, June 21st. Remember, that's the time of the year typically with the most daylight. Folks, I don't think we're going to get much daylight tomorrow with mostly cloudy skies. And over the last 5 years, we've actually had a pretty wide range of weather on the first day of summer. Last year, pretty similar to what's going to happen this year with a little bit of rain and temperatures in the 70s, but we were in the upper 80s the year before that with no rain, quite a bit of rain back in 2013. That was just a wet June overall. Temperatures right now are in the 70s across the area. We do have dew points in the 60s, so a little bit humid in spots for southern Wisconsin. Wind speeds out of the north and east at about 10 miles per hour generally. Let's take a look at how the forecast is setting up. This low pressure system, this stationary front, still continues to cause problems. Really needs to get out of here. Doesn't really have plans to do that anytime soon, though. So rain chances in the forecast for tomorrow into Friday. I do think as we head into Saturday, this high pressure system saves us, if only for a day or two. Then we get the rain chances back. Tonight, mostly cloudy with scattered showers. Temperatures dropping into the upper 50s. For tomorrow, cloudy, breezy with showers, maybe an isolated thunderstorm. Temperatures right around 70 degrees for the first day of summer. Future track showing the chance of showers and storms in the forecast for tonight and as we head into tomorrow morning as well. This rain going to really get close to Madison, at least on future track. It's really just riding around that low pressure system. So it does depend on where that low actually does set up. This could change a little bit over the next couple of days. We'll keep the chance for showers and storms in the forecast for tomorrow and Friday. Hopefully we get that break on Saturday. That would be nice. Slight storm chances on Sunday, then another dry day on Monday as we take a look at the 10-day forecast. Enjoy those days, folks, because as we head into next week, we're in the 80s with lots more chances for showers and storms, unfortunately. So this month is starting, or it's ending how it's starting, rainy.
2 in a row. If
we get in July and we're rainy, I'm not going to be happy because the third time's a charm, and that's not very charming, Mother Nature.
Not. It is not. Let's get that front out of here.
Yes.
All right. Thank you, Dave.
Thank you, Dave. Well, with summer almost here, as Dave just said, safety experts are warning, as they do every year, about the dangers of leaving kids inside hot cars. 40 children die a year because of this. Now there's a nationwide push to lower that number. A new group called Kids and Cars suggests putting a stuffed animal in your child's car seat at all times and bringing it to the front seat next to you when the child is buckled in.
Every year you're disappointed that it hasn't stopped, but no parent thinks it can happen to them.
There is a lot of new technology, too, like car seats that chime to remind you about your child. And car makers GMC and Nissan are also installing alert systems to remind drivers to check rear seats. Congress is also talking about legislation that would require that technology in all new cars.
And it doesn't take much to make the heat inside of a car dangerous.
Yeah, exactly.
Even a day like today, it can get warm.
Very true.
Well, thousands of people are expected in the Madison area this weekend to take in the American Family Golf Championship.
That's right. We'll tell you how you can make an impact for people suffering with Alzheimer's disease while you enjoy the tournament at the same time. That's when we come back.
Gray day over the UW campus on this Wednesday afternoon. It looks like it's going to stay that way for a while. Well, this week's American Family Insurance Championship is not just a golf tournament. It also raises millions of dollars for local charities in its first 2 years.
This year, there's a new charitable partner, Birdies to End Alzheimer's. Paul Braun was the longtime voice of Badger hockey, and to him, this endeavor is very personal. Our Melissa Kin has the story.
You know the voice.
I'm Paul Brown, so long for now, from Madison.
But behind that voice is a love story between Paul and Karen, or KK, and the outdoors.
Those are the times when we had the most fun time together.
But after she turned 59, something changed and kept changing.
We set it up to take her fishing, and after about 5 minutes, it became evident she didn't know how to hold a rod, and she didn't know how to reel it in. That's how much of a change there was.
Karen spent the final 8 years of her life battling early onset Alzheimer's. Paul took care of her, all on his own, for 5 years.
It was the right thing to do. It was for better or worse. in sickness and in health until death do us part.
Until one night,
all of a sudden she started screaming in front of the mirror, "Get that blankety blank woman out of the house." She starts pounding on the glass over there. And I went over to grab her to stop her from doing that. And then she pushed me away and said, "You're trying to hurt me, you're trying to hurt me."
Paul then realized he had to break a promise to KK, one that hurt him, that they would never leave each other's side.
The most difficult thing I've ever had to do in my life was to place her in that facility and turn around and walk out the door. The last 4 months of her life, I'd sit with her and she'd look at me and she'd say, "Is Paul coming?"
Karen passed away on October 2nd, 2015. And now Paul and his longtime friend, Dennis Tiziani, they're spreading love to other families dealing with Alzheimer's because they need it.
That I just don't think that a lot of people are getting behind that, or they're being honest with how they really feel about it, because it is, you know, my wife or my husband has this and she's lost it, or he's lost it.
So they're changing that. For the first time at this year's American Family Insurance Championship, you can pledge as little as a dime for every birdie hit in the tournament. 100% of the proceeds will go towards research right here at UW.
Thank you to the people that have contributed. If you haven't and you'd like to become part of it, you still have time.
So that the ending to this story and thousands of others like it will still have lots of love. In Madison, Melissa Kim, News 3 Sports.
Love story.
The American Family Insurance Championship will be open to the public. When is it? June 22nd to the 24th. Adult admission tickets are around $25.
The championship draws around 50,000 spectators to the Madison area each year, and you can still get in part of the birdies to end Alzheimer's.
There's more at 4 when we come back. It's not every day you have to put on a crash helmet to cover a story.
But that was the case when we went behind the wheel with Harvey Briggs in the Jeep Grand Cherokee Trackhawk. Hang on for launch control when Live at 4 continues.
Good afternoon. Here is your first alert traffic update. Taking a live look now at the Beltline at Stoughton Road. We do still have a report of an accident in this area, but on this camera at least, things are looking good in both directions. We do have some delays on the Beltline, as you might expect for this time of day. On both sides, a little bit slow, close to Park Street, and we are looking at speeds about 25 miles per hour in both directions in that slowdown. 10 minutes from Verona Road to John Nolan, eastbound side with an average speed right around 25 miles per hour. And that is your first alert traffic.
All right, thank you, Dave. Check out this crazy video released by the Ohio Department of Transportation. It shows a motorist driving backward on and off the highway. Now, thankfully, nobody was hurt in this incident, but officials speculate the car may have been suffering from transmission issues, stuck in reverse. Does that happen?
I don't. Would you just stop?
Harvey's looking at me. The department reminded drivers the safest thing to do in a situation like this is to pull over and call for help.
That's one way to turn the odometer back, I guess.
Well, speaking of Harvey, in the past, when we've hit the road behind the wheel with Harvey Briggs, we've tested compact cars, gigantic pickups, and some fun convertibles.
This time it's something utterly ridiculous and utterly spectacular. Sometimes you have no idea what you're getting into.
So I got this text from Harvey. He says to meet at the Madison International Speedway. I thought we were doing a Jeep Cherokee today. Why would I need to meet here at the Speedway? What's this? What the heck is this? Are you kidding me?
I am not
A
kidding you.
Jeep Cherokee?
This is the Jeep Grand Cherokee Trackhawk.
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 So that's why we're meeting.
That's why we're meeting at Madison International Speedway, because this Jeep is designed to be driven on a racetrack.
Supercharged?
Supercharged, V8, good old-fashioned Detroit muscle.
How much Detroit muscle? 707 horsepower, 685 pound-feet of torque. The supercharged Hemi that runs the Hellcat series, the Charger and Challenger, crammed under the hood of a full-size SUV. What could go wrong? Well, it turns out it's almost everything right. So it is track-worthy.
It is track-worthy, and you, my friend, are about to find out.
Let's go. Some numbers, 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds. Top speed, somewhere around 180.
You know, this is the quickest SUV you can buy. Ever. So you could spend $250,000 on a Bentley Bentayga, which has a V12 engine. This will beat it, 0 to 60.
And there are gigantic brakes to stop this beast. And it is a beast that knocks you around, pushes you back in your seat, and at the same time makes you giggle, especially when you engage launch mode. That is as intimidating as it sounds.
We are going to launch this thing.
I'm not real comfortable having to wear a helmet on a test drive, Harvey.
We've got 707 horsepower. We've got an open racetrack. We're waiting for the pressure to build up.
Seatbelt on.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Launch mode. 3, 2, 1.
Holy It is hard to describe what it feels like going from a dead stop to 60 miles an hour in a little over 3 seconds. But then again, why try to describe it? Just listen. It begs the question, why?
Why? This is literally a Sir Edmund Hillary car because it's there. They really just made this because they could. They wanted to demonstrate what they could do. It brings attention to the Jeep brand in a different way. And it brings people into dealerships just to look at this thing. If this is what you want, this is the only game in town.
So it's actually somehow a bargain.
If you got the money in your pocket, you will enjoy every second behind the wheel of this thing.
Now, for the record, the Trackhawk is most at home at a track. Please don't use launch control on your cul-de-sac, but you can use this Jeep as a day-to-day car. There's SUV storage. It'll tow over 7,000 pounds, but keep in mind, that rumble follows you home. You might want to alert your neighbors. And this top-of-the-line Grand Cherokee is filled with everything you'd expect at the top of the line, outside and in, and you should, because all this power, all of this fun, all of this nice stuff ain't cheap. Our test car, $90,800 for a Jeep. And it's worth every single cent.
The base car, the base Trackhawk is $85,000, but then again, you can start a Grand Cherokee at around $30,000. So again, it's about which engine you put in, how much of the performance you put in. They're all all-wheel drive. They're all with an 8-speed automatic transmission. They're all very capable cars. It's just, you know, do you get the great seats and the carbon fiber and the total navigation and the rest of it? And you get this massive Hellcat engine. Yes! Yes, you do!
And that's what it's like to be 19 again.
I was just going to say, you guys are having too much fun.
Yeah, when are we doing that again?
Yeah, thanks to all the folks at the racetrack. We didn't talk about the mileage.
Yeah, well, mileage is really not the strong suit of this car. I think we got about 6 miles per gallon when we were on the track. On the highway, you're going to get closer to 20, maybe.
Now, could you imagine my 19-year-old college student driving a car like this?
No. I would recommend, and I'm sure your insurance company would too, that they start with something a little less powerful. The funny thing about this car, though, is it does have a valet mode, so when you hand the car to the valet, you can limit the top speed and the acceleration on it. And it also has a second key, a black key, that cuts the horsepower from 700 to 500, only 500.
Why bother?
So,
All right, for more information,
wow, that was fun.
It was a lot of fun. Go to ridesanddrives.com, and we got something fun coming up next time.
Yeah, we've got a little, kind of more of a recreational vehicle to play around with, a little less expensive than the Trackhawk.
Back to reality.
No helmets required.
No, not in Wisconsin.
That was fun, and I wasn't scared, despite what your wife thinks. Thanks, Harvey. We'll be right back.
Thank you.
That blue patch disappeared.
Yeah, very quickly. We do have the chance of some showers and thunderstorms this evening. In Iowa, that tornado watch has shrunk, which is good news. The bad news, we do have a severe thunderstorm warning heading closer to Dubuque and actually could sneak into southwestern Wisconsin before the evening is up. So just keep an eye to the sky. Maybe some showers and thunderstorms this evening and tonight.
All right. Keep us posted. Thank you, Dave. We have some breaking news right now out of Portage. The body of a teen who went missing in Silver Lake this past weekend has been found. Search and rescue boats have been on the water since Sunday looking for the 13-year-old. Our reporter on the scene says Bruce's Legacy Search and Recovery found him about 30 minutes ago. We'll be live from Portage tonight on News 3 at 5, and Live at 4 is back right after this.